Hi there. So I'm going to chat about the types of play. So a lot of us just think, oh, you go out and you play. But there's so much more to it, which is really, really exciting. There's a lot of different kinds of play that you see in all age groups. So as much as we think of play in the sense of, kindergarten and those 4 and 5-year-olds, play goes right up to, I see it in our staff. And this continues, and play really helps you learn when you're having that hands-on experience and you're able to kind of connect with what you're doing, and it's all based on your own interests and your passions. Students really thrive, and this is where they're asking questions. This is where we're able to ask questions as well. So there's a lot of really neat aspects to play. The great thing is that when your student comes home and says, all I did was play all day, and you're like, why are they going to forest school? What are they learning? We will send those weekly emails as updates so that you can kind of trigger your students like, hey, I heard you saw, some snakes, and all of a sudden they'll rattle out 5 facts about that snake, and that kind of thing. Or better yet, take them into the forest, and I guarantee they'll start rambling on about their all their experiences that they learned in the forest as well. But some of the plays that we see are things like dramatic play and imaginative play. So again, when we think of dramatic play or using our imaginations, we think of those little kids. But even myself, I've taught the older ones right up to age 13, and they are also doing dramatic play. They are constantly talking about, imaginative things. They're expressing, maybe their problems and their concerns through sarcasm and imagination and, chase kind of games and that kind of thing. And as you sit there, you have only your 6 students, and for us as teachers, we're able to kind of tune into what each student is really trying to express and what they maybe need, and maybe an extra conversation on the side, or maybe they need some more, dramatic play games and some props for their play and all of that kind of thing, and we can bring those week after week to really enhance this imagination. So many studies out there on, the link between an imaginative play and intellectual levels and all of that fun stuff, which is really, really great. It just gives them an opportunity to express themselves. It also leads to a lot of communication. So students are able to discuss what they need in their play, the rules, the regulations they have. Usually there's some sort of like hierarchy and levels, roles, all that kind of thing. And we just step back and let it happen. And they're able to problem solve with each other. Communication skills are something that you need for the rest of your life. And when we see it at forest school through this dramatic and imaginative play, we just, we say like, oh, that's so great. They're going to be able to express themselves in a proper and appropriate way in any social situation. That being said, there's also social play, but there's also solitary play where students, just need that break to go and sit under a tree and, hang out and think about things and just decompress. We are in a society that is very, very busy, go with practices and work and school and all these things, which is great, but sometimes we need that time to just unwind, that me time, so to speak, that, we as adults get, but students don't always get that. And so at forest school, they're able to just go climb a tree and sit by themselves. They'll voice when they need it, which is great self-advocacy, where they'll say, oh, I just need some space for a minute, or like, yep, I'm good, I just want to sit on this log, and when they do this solitary play, this is actually where they start to find different things, and they almost express some passions as well when all of a sudden, a little bug comes crawling out, or they're able to see a track on the ground that maybe no one would have seen because it's under some leaves and all of that kind of stuff. And then that's when it turns back into that social play. And we really see it reflect positively in the students' day. The other types of play are things like deep play, where again it's more on the communicative side, where they're just sitting one-on-one. There isn't materials, there isn't that adult based play where we're putting out toys, we're saying, hey, you're playing with Lego, you're going to build something, here's the instructions. That's just regular old play. We're talking deep play where they're only using their voices and their bodies, so they're able to kind of really get into that play and kind of express what they need to express. The other one that we do a lot of at forest school that's kind of Usually something that parents like to ask about is rough and tumble or risky play. So rough and tumble is exactly what it sounds like, where, there is a bit of that hands-on. There is a big difference between rough and tumble and wrestling and hurting each other. So rough and tumble allows for that self-advocacy, allows for self-expression, allows for set rules and all of that kind of thing. It gives us an opportunity to kind of let them co-assess the risk behind it, where they can, express themselves and talk about, the rules and what their level of comfort is. And it also teaches students, to be able to say stop and no, I don't want to do this. We don't force any of this play by any stretch. So if students don't want to be part of rough and tumble, they don't have to be, which is the great thing too. With risky play, this is where we're, climbing trees, we're using tools, we're, doing those things they're not allowed to do on the regular playground. And there are so many benefits to risky play. One is that there's actually many studies out there that say that children actually hurt themselves less when they partake in risky play, because they become aware of their body and that the proprioception skills and all of that kind of thing, by being able to kind of climb trees and figure things out. We don't just go and let them do whatever they want. We do what's called co-assessing risk. So, we'll sit down and we'll say like, hey, what are you thinking? And, a student may say, oh, well, I want to, go climb that tree. All right, well, do you think that's a good climbing tree? Yep, I do. All right, why do you think it's a good climbing tree? And they'll say, well, the branches are bigger than my arm. They look really sturdy. When I shake the tree, it doesn't move. There aren't any, pointy spruce needles or anything like that. We're like, cool, that sounds like a great climbing tree, go for it. Next time, when it is a tree that's maybe not great for climbing, they're able to kind of assess that on their own and say, okay, maybe I'll find another one, and that kind of thing. So lots of different plays going on, lots of things that we as teachers look for, and that we're able to enhance each week by bringing in materials or resources, or even just researching things ourselves, because we don't necessarily know every in and out of every game, or coming up with more games to enhance their play as well. If you ever have questions about what your student is learning, or the play that they're talking about, sometimes things can get misconstrued, and we totally understand that. Feel free to reach out to either your teacher, your principal, or to one of us on the admin team, and we're here to help guide you through the Forest School experience.